शिवाय परमेश्वराय शशिशेखराय नमो शिवाय परमेश्वराय शशिशेखराय नमो शिवाय परमेश्वराय शशिशेखराय नमो शिवाय परमेश्वराय शशिशेखराय नमो हराय गुणसंभवाय शिवताण्डवाय नमो हराय गुणसंभवाय शिवताण्डवाय नमो हराय गुणसंभवाय शिवताण्डवाय नमो हराय गुणसंभवाय शिवताण्डवाय नमो शिवाय सुरपूजिताय गणसेविताय नमो शिवाय सुरपूजिताय गणसेविताय नमो शिवाय सुरपूजिताय गणसेविताय नमो शिवाय सुरपूजिताय गणसेविताय नमो हराय त्रिपुरान्तकाय शिवशङ्कराय नमो हराय त्रिपुरान्तकाय शिवशङ्कराय नमो शिवाय सर्वेश्वराय चन्द्रशेखराय नमो शिवाय सर्वेश्वराय चन्द्रशेखराय नमो हराय हरिपूजिताय गुणवन्दिताय नमो हराय हरिपूजिताय गुणवन्दिताय नमो शिवाय भवभञ्जनाय मृत्युञ्जयाय नमो शिवाय भवभञ्जनाय मृत्युञ्जयाय नमो हराय वृषभध्वजाय भक्तप्रियाय नमो हराय वृषभध्वजाय भक्तप्रियाय नमो शिवाय परमेश्वराय शशिशेखराय नमो शिवाय परमेश्वराय शशिशेखराय नमो हराय गुणसंभवाय शिवताण्डवाय नमो हराय गुणसंभवाय शिवताण्डवाय नमो शिवाय सुरपूजिताय गणसेविताय नमो शिवाय सुरपूजिताय गणसेविताय नमो हराय त्रिपुरान्तकाय शिवशङ्कराय नमो हराय त्रिपुरान्तकाय शिवशङ्कराय नमो शिवाय सर्वेश्वराय चन्द्रशेखराय नमो शिवाय सर्वेश्वराय चन्द्रशेखराय नमो मन्दिताय नमो शिवाय भवभञ्जनाय मृत्युञ्जयाय नमो शिवाय भवभञ्जनाय मृत्युञ्जयाय नमो हराय वृषभध्वजाय भक्तप्रियाय नमो हराय वृषभध्वजाय भक्तप्रियाय नमो शिवाय परमेश्वराय चन्द्रशेखराय नमो हराय गुणसम्भवाय शिवताण्डवाय नमो
नमः पार्वती पतये கருணையா கருணையால் என்னை ஆண்ட நீ எனக்குன் காட்சி தந்தருளிலை என்றால் இருள் நலி உலகில் ஏங்கியே பதைத்து இவ்வுடல் விடில் என் கதி என்னாம் அருணனைக் காணாது அலருமோ கமலம் அருணனுக்கருணனாமன்னி அருள்நனி சுரந்தங்கு அருவியாய் பெருகும் அருணமாமலையெனும் அன்பே அன்புரு அருணாச்சல அழன்மெழுகாய் அகத்துணை நினைந்து நைந்துருகும் அன்பிலி எனக்குன் அன்பினை அருளாது ஆண்டெனை அழித்திடல் அழகோ அன்பினில் விழையும் இன்பமே அன்பர் அகத்தினில் ஊரும் ஆரமுதே என் புகலிடனின் இஷ்டமென் இஷ்டம் இன்பதற்கென்னுயிர் இறையே பரமனின் பாதம் பற்றறப் பற்றும் பரரி அரியரிற் பரமன் பரமுனக்கென என் பணியறப் பணியாய் பறித்திடும் உனக்கெது பாரம் பரமனிற்பிரிந்து உலகினை தலையில் பற்றியான் பெற்றது போதும் பரமநாமருணா சலையனை இனியும் பதத்தினின்றொது கூறப்பாரேல் பார்த்தனன் புதுமை உயிர்வலி காந்த பருவதம் ஒரு-தரம் இதனை ஓர்த்திடும் உயிரின் சேட்டையை ஒடுக்கி ஒருதன தபிமுகமாக ஈர்த்ததை தன்போல் அச்சலமா செய்து அவ்வின்னுயிர் பலிகொளும் மிகுது என் ஓர்த்துய்மின் உயிர்காள் உளமதில் ஒளிரு உயிர்கொலி அருணமாகிரியே கிரீது பரமா கருதிய என்போர் கெட்டவர் எத்தனை கொல்லோ விரிதுயராழி பிழைப்பினில் விழைவு விட்டுடல் விட்டிட விறகு கருதியே திரிவீர் கருத்தினுள்ளொருகால் கருதிடக் கொலாமலே கொல்லும் அருமருந்தொன்றுண்டு அவனியில் அதுதான் அருணமாத்திரமென அறிவீர் அறியாதீதரசீவரம் தகவாரிசகுகையில் அறிவாயிரமி பரமாத்துமன் அருணாச்சலரமணன் பரிவாழ்வுளம் முருகானல பரனார்ந்திடு குகையார்ந்து அறிவாம் விழித்திரவாய் நிசமறிவாய் அது வெளியாம் அண்ணாமலையாய் அடியேனை ஆண்ட அன்றே ஆவியுடல் கொண்டாய் எனக்கோர் குறையுண்டோ குறையும் குணமும் நீ அல்லால் என்னேனிவற்றை என்னுயிரே எண்ணம் எதுவோ அது செய்வாய் கண்ணே உந்தன் கழலினயிர் காதற் பெருக்கே தருவாயே கண்ணே உந்தன் கழலினயிர் காதற் பெருக்கே தருவாயே. ஓம் அதிமதுரசாபஹஸ்தாம் அபரிமிதாம் மோதபான சௌபாக்யாம் அருணாம் அதிசய கருணாம் அபிநவ குலசுந்தரீம் வந்தே. ஓம் ஐம் ஹ்ரீம் ஸ்ரீம். Shri Arunachalam. Now we will chant together from the first verse. Together we will chant. Together.
कर्तुराज्ञया प्राप्यते फलम् कर्म किं परं कर्म तज्जडम् कृतिमहोदतो पतनकारणम् फलमशाश्वतम् गतिनिरोधकम् ईश्वरार्पितम् नेच्छया कृतम् चित्तशोधकम् मुक्तिसाधकम् कायवाङ्मनः कार्यमुत्तमम् पूजनं जपश्चिन्तनं क्रमात् जगतरीषधीयुक्तसेवनम् अष्टमूर्तिभृद्देवपूजनम् उत्तमस्तवात् उच्चमन्धतः चित्तजं जप ध्यानमुत्तमम् आज्यधारया श्रोतसासमम् सरलचिन्तनं विरलतः परम् भेदभावना सोऽहमित्यसौ भावनाभिदा पावनीमता भावशून्यसद्भावसुस्थितिः भावनाबलात् भक्तिरुत्तमा हृस्थले मनः स्वस्थता क्रिया भक्तियोगबोधाश्च निश्चितम् वायुरोदनात् लीयते मनः जालपक्षिवत् रोधसाधनम् चित्तवायवत् चित्क्रियायुताः शाखयोर्द्वयी शक्तिमूलका लयविनाशने उभयरोधने लयगतं पुनः भवति नोऽमृतम् प्राणबन्धना लीनमानसम् एकचिन्तना नाशमेत्यदः नष्टमानसो कृष्टयोगिनः कृत्यमस्ति किं स्वस्ति किं यतः.
We'll stop here. Yesterday, Bhagavan was telling us, when we are meditating on any form of the Lord or whatever, mantra or anything, it should be sarala chintanam. It should be unbroken. So that can happen only through practice. Viralata param. It is better than that meditation which is broken. Broken means what? Mind wanders here, there, in between. So saralataha means what? Which is unbroken. That is uttamam. And then he said, instead of keeping the Lord as somebody else, you have to always think saha aham iti asau. So he is in my own heart as my own self. This bhavana is uttama bhavana. So with this we have to meditate. So when you meditate like this, with the strength of that bhavana balam, with that meditation, you transcend and go beyond thoughts. Bhava shunya. And then what happens? Sadbhava sustitihi. You abide in that sadbhava sustiti. Means in that sadbhavana, that true self, the pure existence that I am, in that you abide there. So this is what we have to achieve. So yena kena prakarena, the mind has to rest in the heart, spiritual heart. That is the end of all pursuit, whether it is karma yoga, bhakti yoga, or dhyana yoga, or jnana yoga. Whichever yoga, the mind or the thoughts should subside in the heart, and you should remain there. That is the goal. But for some seekers, it's very hard. The mind is not quiet. It's very turbulent, very difficult. So then another important help is given, an aid is given. That is, if you control the prana, that is the breath, then the mind is also controlled. Why? Because both of them, they are the two branches of the same Shakti. So if you are unable to control the mind, don't worry. Now control the breath, the prana. That is easier because it is gross. So when you control the prana, the mind is controlled. But that is not enough. Why? Once when the pranayama effect is over, once again the mind will run. So therefore, after that, you have to make the mind to think about the one. Eka chintanat. Nashameti. So with contemplation on one, you have to destroy this mind forever. It should not come again. Punarna bhavati means it should not come again. It should once and for all, it should perish. This is what we have to achieve. So such an exalted yogi, whose vasanas are all burnt, he has got nothing to do in this world. Means he cannot be bound by any karma. He is totally free. He can act in the world or he can keep quiet. For him, there is nothing. Nothing to achieve, nowhere to go. So that is his exalted state. So till this point of time, we have seen yesterday. Today, we shall chant the 16th verse. 16th, no?
Yes.
दृश्यवारितं चित्तमात्मनः
दृश्यवारितं चित्तमात्मनः
दृश्यवारितं चित्तमात्मनः
दृश्यवारितं चित्तमात्मनः
चित्वदर्शनं तत्त्वदर्शनं
चित्वदर्शनं तत्त्वदर्शनं
चित्वदर्शनं तत्त्वदर्शनं
चित्वदर्शनं तत्त्वदर्शनं Chittam means the mind. The mind, drishyavaritam, meaning when it withdraws from all the drishya means seen. Seen means what? Whatever is perceived. Means the world of names and forms. All the sense objects, the emotions and thoughts. when the mind is totally withdrawn from all these, meaning worlds of objects, emotions and thoughts, when it is totally withdrawn, then what happens? Atmanaha Chittva Darshanam. It sees itself as what? Chittva Darshanam. Chit means what? As pure consciousness. Purana Nallarivu in Tamil. As pure knowledge or pure consciousness. Meaning what? Because of which everything else is illumined. That is pure consciousness. So the mind sees itself as the pure consciousness. Chittva Darshanam. And this is Tattva Darshanam. This is the real vision. This is the real Darshanam. Darshana means what? Seeing or Darshan. Vision. It's not you see some God. You see yourself as a pure consciousness. That is real Darshanam. Tattva Darshanam. The vision of the reality. Tattva means the real vision of the reality. So, end of the seeking is what? One has to lose oneself and abide in that pure awareness or pure consciousness. That is Atma Sakshatkar. See, in Ulladanarpada and Ulladanarpada Anubandha, Bhagavan clearly says, if you think vision of God in the world outside is the real vision, then he says no. Because whatever appears will disappear also. So therefore, that is not the real vision. Okay, it may help. But the real vision is to abide in oneself and to see oneself as the pure consciousness. Chittva Darshan. Chit means pure consciousness. Chittva Darshanam. Seeing oneself as pure. Now what we see ourselves as? The body-mind. Whenever we think about ourselves, we think about this body only. I am this. Or to some extent to the mind. Like I am good, bad, all those stuff. I am intelligent, all those stuff. But what is our true nature? It is pure consciousness, pure light of consciousness in which everything else is illumined. Tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam. Tasya bhasa sarvamidham vibhati. Because of the light of consciousness, everything is illumined. Therefore, I am that pure consciousness. This vision is the vision of reality. Tattva Darshanam. So do not get cheated by other vision. See, people report, Swamiji, I was seeing some light. Is that the truth? No, you are a tube light. See, light means it is seen by the eyes, na? Whatever is perceived by senses, how it can be the reality? It is beyond senses. See? Some Jyoti I have seen. See, all the Jyotis can be seen. But whatever you see is not the reality. Only when the mind is turned from all that is seen, Drishya Varitam. See? Seen means heard also, through all the senses. And when it is within the heart, then that is the real darshan. Whatever you perceive through the senses, it is not the reality. Whatever you imagine through the mind is not the reality. So only when you go beyond the body and the mind, whatever remains, that is the reality. What remains? The self. The pure consciousness remains. And that is the real darshan, tattva darshan, the vision of the reality. So now, Bhagavan is going to take up his Atma Vicharam, his real Upadesha of Atma Vicharam. So in the first verse, he gives a shock. We are stunned. And then he explains why he says that way. And then he guides us to the self, true self. This is so beautiful. This portion from verse 17 to the verse 21 is the essence of Atma Vichara. Right? So today we are going to see the essence of Atma Vichara. Please be attentive. Please be alert. This is the Upadesha of Bhagavan. Actual Upadesha of Bhagavan. Come on. 17th verse.
मानसं तु किं मार्गणे कृते
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 नैव मानसं मार्ग आर्जवात्
नैव मानसं मार्गार्जवात्
नैव मानसं मार्ग आर्जवात्
नैव मानसं मार्गार्जवात्
Manasam tu kim? What is this mind? Kim means what? Manasam tu kim. Manasam means his mind. What is this mind? Marghane krite. When you thus inquire. Inquire means what? Really look within and try to find out. That is what inquiry. Marghane krite means when you thus inquire sincerely, turning your attention within, then Bhagavan says, Na eva manasam. You find there is nothing called as mind. Marga arjavat. This is the straight path. Arjavat means straight path. This is the straight path for everyone. What is this, Bhagavan? He says there is no mind. If you inquire what is this mind, you will find there is no mind. Today morning also, in our meditation session, we have seen, when you inquire within, you find that there was never ever an ego or the mind. It was never born. So it is a myth. But Bhagavan, I know. Every day I am experiencing this mind. It's terrible. My God, you don't know. My mind is very terrible. That's what we say, na? But Bhagavan says, no. You have never inquired about the true nature of the mind. You have not looked within. If you inquire truly, you will find that na eva manasam. There is no mind. And there is no mind, there is no problem. In the deep sleep, actually there is no mind. Mind is absorbed. So there is no problem. Is that not so? See, I am not talking about the dream state. Dream state is not the deep sleep state. In the dream state, still the mind is active. Whatever the impressions within, that throws it out. I am not talking about the dream state. In the deep sleep state, actually the mind is absorbed. No experiences. So no problem. Mind creates all problems. Manayeva manushyana karanam bandha mokshayoho. Mind alone is the reason for the bondage, and mind alone can take you to the liberation also. That's what's said in one of the Upanishads. So here Bhagavan பெரிய குண்ட தூக்கி போடுறார். என்ன சொல்றார்? If you inquire what is this mind, there is no mind. Then Bhagavan, what then? No mind, that's it. That's it. So, you remain in that state of peace where there is no mind. Gurudev Swami Chinmayanji, he used to say, unborn mind is the self. See, in Tamil, there's a saying, முழு பூசணிக்காய் சோத்துல மறைக்கிறது சொல்லுவாங்க. See, pumpkin, big pumpkin. How can you hide it in a small this thing of rice? You cannot. See, here, manasu தான் இந்த பாடா பாடுபடுத்துது. Mind is a terrible thing which really troubles us so much. With so much of anxieties, worries, fears, desires, lust and passion. The mind is source of all trouble. But Bhagavan, he coolly says, if you inquire, na eva manasam, there is no mind. And he says Marga Arjava. And this is the straight path for everyone. Manadinnuruvai maravadu sava. Manamena undrillai undi para. Markaner arkum idundi para. There he says Markaner arkum. For everyone this is the straight path, he says. Markam Nair means what? This is a straight path. But how, Bhagavane? How do you say this? That there is no mind. When you inquire, there is no mind. How do you say this? Then Bhagavan explains. Bhagavan beautifully explains. Now come on, tell me what is the mind? He asks, what is the mind? And then he takes the inquiry deeper and deeper. And then he establishes, he shows us that you yourself can experience that there is no mind. How come? Next verse.
वृत्तयस्त्वहं वृत्तिमाश्रिताः
वृत्तयस्त्वहं वृत्तिमाश्रिताः
वृत्तयस्त्वहं वृत्तिमाश्रिताः
वृत्तयस्त्वहं वृत्तिमाश्रिताः
वृत्तयो मनो विद्यहं मनः
वृत्तयो मनो विद्यहं मनः
वृत्तयो मनो विद्यहं मनः
वृत्तयो मनो विद्यहं मनः. What is mind? Here Bhagavan starts his exposition. Vrittayaha manaha. Mind is nothing but thoughts. Our Gurudev also used to say the flow of thoughts is called as mind. Like the flow of water is called as the river, the flow of thoughts is called as the mind. Bhagavan also says the same. Vrittayaha manaha. Vrittayaha means the thoughts. What is mind? Continuously thought is arising. That is called as the mind. There can be good or bad thought, that is different. But continuous flow of thoughts, that is called as the mind. Understood? Yes. Now, Vrittayaha tu aham vrittim ashritaha. All these thoughts, they are dependent on aham vrittim ashritaha, dependent on a thought called as I thought. See, this is very important. Vrittayaha tu means all these thoughts, whichever is rising, they all are dependent on aham vritti. Aham means I. Aham vrittim ashritaha. They all are dependent on this I thought. How come? How come? Bhagavan says, only when the I thought rise, then all the thoughts rises. How come? Bhagavan, there are so many, vulgar thoughts in my mind. What will I do? We inquire for whom this thought? For whom this thought? For me. We say for me, na? Bhagavan, so much of fear. This is also a thought. Fear is a thought. For whom it is arising? For me. See, if it is rising in you, I even don't know about it. And I don't bother about it. It is your problem, you handle it. But it is arising in me. That is why I am so concerned. So, to me, the thought rises. So, everything is dependent on me means I. See, what is this I? We will inquire. But here Bhagavan says all the thoughts, they are dependent on I thought means I. See, another way of looking at it. The thoughts cannot just rise in the mid-air. See, a thought is rising there. You cannot say. Only for a conscious entity a thought can arise. Is it not so? So I am the conscious entity to whom the thought is rising. So I am and I think. It is not the other way around. I am, I think, I feel, I see. You understand? So all the thoughts, they are dependent on this I thought. If there is no I thought, the conscious entity, there cannot be any other thoughts. In the deep sleep, somehow this I thought is not there. Therefore, we don't experience any other thought. When you wake up or when you dream, the first thing comes is I, non. And then comes all the other thoughts. My life, my troubles, my problems, my fears, my anxieties. What will happen to me? Actually, we are concerned only about ourselves. Please understand that. And our small circle of my wife, my children, my bandhus. Meaning, there is extension of I only. Because they love me, they give me happiness. That is why I love them. So it is extension of me only. So therefore, everything rises from I. So therefore, Bhagavan says, Vidya, please know, aham manaha. Mind is nothing but I thought, I. What, Swamiji? 1 minute, how is it? See, what is mind? Mind is nothing but flow of thoughts. And these thoughts cannot arise without a substratum or without this thing, ashraya called as I. Only for I, the thoughts can rise. So therefore, thoughts are nothing but I. Therefore, mind is nothing but I. So here Bhagavan has reduced the mind to I thought. I thought means I. Whatever I say as I. See, it is a very, very basic understanding that I cannot be this body. Because body is inert and insentient. And I am a Chaitanya Vastu, dynamic, alive and kicking. So therefore, very clear that this body is not the I. But an idea is rising in me as I. Na. Sada sarva kalamu. நம்முடைய ஸ்மரணமெல்லாம் என்ன? நான் அங்கே போனேன், நான் அங்கே வந்தேன், நான் அது செஞ்சேன், என்னை மாதிரி உண்டா, நான் அவ்வளோ புத்திசாலியாக்கும், நான் நல்லவனாக்கும், blah blah blah. I. Throughout our life, we have been saying I. So the whole life centers only around this I only. My life, my wife, my children. And I go to God for me to be blessed, for getting blessings for me, for my children. I am the hero of this universe. If there is a God who will not give you anything, you will not go to him. If there is a guru who cannot bless you, why should you go to him? We all worship only. Please understand. Chumma, we can talk flowery language. Oh Sadgurunatha, you are everything for me. Tvameva mata cha pita tvameva. Tvameva bandhuscha sakha tvameva. Tvameva vidya dravinam tvameva. Tvameva sarvam. Not tvameva sarvam. Ahameva sarvam. So therefore, I is everything. A war is happening in Ukraine. Russia is, sort of destroying everything there, let us say. We read in the paper, nowadays nobody reads paper also. We browse and we find, yo, pow. That's all our reaction. Is that not so? Something happened in the next street. Ayo, apriya. Why? Why? Because it may come next to your house. You are scared because it can come to you. Some riots in the next street or some theft, some burglary. Ayo Rama, when it happens to your child, ayo my God, Oh Rama. Why? Because when it comes closer to you, you react very violently. When it comes to you, something happened to you, some disease, you may die. Ram, 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 Ram. I can't accept it. God, I don't know. So we are all concerned only about I. Please understand. Even Narada once asked Narayana, Narayana, can you show me your Maya? Narayana said, don't worry about that, please. No, I want to see your Divyamana. I want to see your Maya. Then Narayana said, okay, please bring me some water. He asked. You must be knowing this story. Then Narada went to the river to bring some water. There he saw a beautiful damsel, beautiful girl. Trying to fetch some water and trying to walk. He fell in love with that girl, instantaneously. Love in first sight. And then he goes behind her. And then he proposes immediately. I love you. I cannot live without you. Then she says, no, you go and ask my father. Then he goes to the father. I love your daughter so much. Then he said, okay, you can marry her. The cinema Then Narada marries that girl. And then he lives happily. Then he begets children. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He becomes a big samsari. And he builds a beautiful house. And everything. And he lives happily. One day, terrible flood. Have you seen in Himachal recently? My God, flood means what? Real flood. Everything is flooded. Everything is destroyed. And his house gone. And he carries his children, one on the shoulder and one in this hand. And then he holds on to his wife. And he tries to come out of the flood. But the children gone one by one. Then he holds on to the wife. Why? I can get children. I should not leave this wife. Children gone. So he holds on to the wife. And then it comes to this. Then he leaves the wife also. I can marry another girl. But I want to escape. I is important, not the wife, not the children. I tell you, we are cheating ourselves. See, it's a very beautiful story. He leaves the children first. Why? Because if the wife is there, I can get so many other children also now. And when it comes to this, he leaves the wife also. Why? If I am there, I can marry some other girl also. I am important. Then Narayana asked, where is my water? Water? Within a second, everything happened. This is my Maya. So why I narrated the story? Because I am important, not anything else. Atmanastu kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati. I love myself, therefore I love my wife and children. Because as long as they give happiness, I love them. The moment they start giving me trouble, sorrow, out. So this is the law of life, law of the universe. So everything depends on I. So what is mind then? Mind is nothing but flow of thoughts. But what is thought? Thought, all the thoughts dependent on I thought. Because only with I thought, other thoughts can rise. So I thought is the fundamental thought from which all the other thoughts rise. So therefore mind is nothing but the I thought. Understand this much? Okay, now we have moved to the I thought. Now the question is, what is this I? Who am I? What is this I which is really creating havoc in my life? Who is this I? Who am I? And where from this I is arising? Watch, observe, find out. This is Atma Vicharam. Bhagavan is going to express it in the next verse.
Ahamayam kuto bhavati chinvatah.
Ahamayam kuto bhavati chinvatah.
अहमयं कुतो भवति चिन्वतः
अहमयं कुतो भवति चिन्वतः
ऐपतत्यहं निजविचारणम्
ऐपदत्यहं निजविचारणम्
ऐपतत्यहं निजविचारणम्
ऐपदत्यहं निजविचारणम्
நான் என்றெழும் இடம் ஏதன நாடவுள் நான் என்றெழும் இடம் ஏதன நாட உள் நான் தலை சாய்ந்திடும் முந்தி பர ஞான விசாரமி துந்தி பர. I tell you, if you know Tamil, there is nothing like that. You can enjoy Bhagavan. He says, Ayam aham kuto bhavati, this I, in which everything revolves, around which everything revolves, from which every other thoughts rise. Ayam aham kutaha bhavati, kuto bhavati, meaning where from it rises. Kuto bhavati, chinvataha, thus you inquire. Having inquired thus, what happens? See, within one simple sentence he finishes everything. But it will not happen like that. What happens when you inquire? This I, around which everything revolves, and from where every other thoughts rise, this I, from where it arises? Inquire. Inquire means, you know what? Give attention and try to find out in yourself. Because in yourself only the I is arising. No? See, nan engage varudhu. From where this I is rising? You try to find out yourself. See, this is the most ironical thing, you know. You cannot go and ask anybody, who am I? Hurry, you should know. Why are you asking me? That would be the answer, na? You can ask about anything else to somebody. But you cannot go and ask somebody, who am I? Hey, you should know. Why are you asking me? So only we should know. Because it is I. I have been living with myself, my God, for all these years, 24/7. No escape. I can escape from you all. Can I escape from myself? So I have been living with myself. If I cannot stand myself, how can others stand me? So the idea is, I is rising in me only, meaning from where this I is rising. Inquire means find out. How to find out? When the attention is always on the world, the emotions and thoughts, how can you find out? Because I means it is within, na? நான் இப்படி சொல்றேன், நான் இப்படி உள்ளதானே சொல்றேன், நான். So turn your attention within, ahamuhappadu, turn your attention within and try to find out, ayam aham kuto bhavati, from where this I is arising. See, this I is not a gross thing. It's a very, very subtle thing. But everybody feels this I. Nobody can say, I don't know. How can you say I don't know? Every day you are talking about I. How can you say I don't know? You are bluffing. Everybody feels this I, நான். அது என்ன உணர்வுன்னு பாரு. You find out what is this I. You find out where from this I is rising. This is Bhagavan's Atma Vichara. If you inquire thus, I patati. I patati. No. I means alas. Is an exclamation. I. Ayyaho. சொல்லுங்க தமிழ். I. Patati aham. Alas. You will find out. You will discover. This aham patati, this aham perishes, vanishes, it falls. Patati means falls. Falls not kila vilundruchu, appadi kedaiyadhu. Patati means it vanishes, it disappears. நான் என்றெழும் இடம் ஏதன நாடவுள், நான் Thalai saindidum mundi para. Thalai saindidum. Meaning, talk. It dies. In cinema and all, you see now, the hero would be talking after receiving 100 bullets. Still, he would be giving big dialogues, and then finally talk. He's dead anymore. So, Thalai saindidum means what? Talk. And so, I patati, the eye falls, means, and the eye dies, disappears. This is Nija Vicharanam. This is real self-inquiry. Aham patati. Ayi nanartham. Ayyaho, alas. It's an exclamation. Ayi. This aham patati. This I disappears. Meaning you find there is no I. How come? You will find yourself. Don't ask anybody how come. You go and see yourself. Who will see? This is a good question. The experience is there is no I. Means this I which we have been thinking to be ourselves, the personality, the ego sense, that vanishes. Not only is that you discover this I was never ever born. இது எப்படி சுவாமி? அப்படிதான் அங்க realization. Like the ghost in the post. Ghost was never ever born. It's not that ghost was born and one day it has gone back. No. That was never ever the ghost. You only see a ghost. It's your figment of imagination. Similarly, this I is only figment of your imagination. It was never born. Never was I. It's not only I disappears. Never was I. You feel, how come Swamiji? How come? I'm talking, I'm seeing, I'm enjoying. How come there is no I? How come the life can happen without I? See, Bhagavan, he narrates a beautiful story. Once in a village, those days, 1920s, let us say, those days, in Indian villages, no radio, no television, nothing. In one village, that panchayat office, there will be one radio, big radio. Those days, big radio. Because they were using vacuum, I don't know what. So big radios. Now it is all, pocket radios. Not even pocket. So big radios. So the villagers, they come around the radio and they listen to the news. And then sometimes there is a song from the radio. They listen to the song. And they all wonderstruck. The villagers are thinking somebody is singing from that radio. And somebody is sort of reading out the news. And one fellow decided, I want to see who is there inside the radio. Sometimes he's singing like a lady. Sometimes he's singing like a gent. What is happening? He's reading the news. He's all-rounder or what? I'm going to find who is that fellow inside the radio. So when everybody has retired and gone, he stealthily went there and opened the radio. To his astonishment, he discovered there was nobody. Without anybody, how is the radio singing? How is the radio talking? Yes, without anybody, the radio can sing. The radio can read out news. Similarly, without anybody, you can talk, you can sing, you can enjoy, you can suffer. How come, Swamiji? This is Maya and this is magic. This is how it is. It is not, appealing to our logic and intelligence. You go and see. You will not believe in me. That's what Bhagavan says. Vichara means you yourself find out. Inquire and find out where from this I is rising. When you inquire deep within, when you go deep within where from this I is rising, when you give your attention, you yourself will find there is no I. You know what? All the thoughts depend on this I. When there is no I, no other thoughts. We perceive the world only through thoughts. Please give some thought to this. We don't perceive world without any thought. always we perceive the world only through thoughts. If there are no thoughts, no world. We think there is a concrete world sitting somewhere. Bhagavan says, no, in deep sleep, where is the world? Only when the mind comes, there is world. There is projection of world. When the mind is absorbed, there is no world. Therefore, this world is nothing but the projection of the mind. Huh? Yes. Because without the thought process, you can never perceive a world. This is the real breakthrough. If you really can contemplate on this one thought, that is it. Without thought, there is no world. So therefore, world is nothing but thought. All the thoughts depend on this I thought. If you inquire what is this I thought, there is no I thought. So when you inquire what is this mind, there is no mind. So what remains, you go and find out. There is only peace. There is only that auspicious, Satyam, Shivam, Sundaram, that is the auspicious. That presence, whatever it is, can be called as Purnam. So therefore, it is said the world is not real. It is only an appearance, like the ghost in the post. Swamiji, if you say the world is only projection of the mind, whose mind? My mind, her mind, or her mind? Whose mind? Is it a sort of a sum of all the minds? No. Even the very idea of other is part of the mind. See, this idea you please understand. Even when you say other, that other comes only from the mind. So mind itself is not. So therefore, you think about it. Whatever we are holding on to as a concrete three-dimensional physical world, Bhagavan says, Manomayam. Vacharambam Manomayam. In Uddhava Gita, recently we are studying Uddhava Gita, it is said Vacharambam. Chuma vayala pesara, apdi onnume kediyadu. In a Buddhist monastery, there was a young boy who became a monk. Novice they are called as. So he was talking to his senior monk. He was telling him, see, the flag is fluttering there beautifully. A flag is fluttering. The senior monk said, no, your mind is fluttering. Senior monk said, no, the mind is fluttering, he said. That time, the chief monk, the master was passing that side. He just stopped and said, no, your tongue is fluttering. Not even the flag is fluttering. Just your tongue is fluttering. Think about it. So therefore, tongue is fluttering. You are just talking something nonsense. There is nothing happening. That is what tongue is fluttering. Therefore, whatever we think about the world is only thoughts in the mind. And what is thought? Nothing but it all depends on I. From the I only all thoughts rises. All the thoughts, they rise only from I. And what is this I? If you inquire. Inquire means not just chuma pechu artha kadayadu. Pechu moochu adaki kondu aalndu ariya vendumari. Not to utter a word, not to talk with yourself. Moochu adaki kondu means one point of attention. If you give your attention, if you dive deep and find out from where the I is rising, when you try to find out, you find there is no I. I patati. When the very first person is gone, what is the status of second and third person? Meaning, in English grammar, we say the first person, na? I, first person. Then second person, when he comes, only with the reference to the first person, somebody is in front, you call as you. See, please understand, only with the reference to the first person, somebody is called as you. And with reference to the first person, one who is staying far away is called as he, she, it. So when the very first person is gone, what is the status of the second and third person? Everybody is gone. So with the I subsides all the thoughts. With the thoughts goes all the idea of the world. So there is no world, no thoughts, no I. And what is remaining? Which cannot be expressed, which cannot be thought of. Achintyam avyaktyam anantarupam shivam prashantam amritam brahmayonim. Achintyam, you cannot express, you cannot think even, you cannot imagine. See how Bhagavan has brought everything to nothing. So when you come to Bhagavan, there is no talk about Vyakti, Samashti and all. Microcosm, macrocosm. So this is Atma, that is Brahman. So that Brahman is this Atma, and the kadeyalla Bhagavan kadeyadu. Bhagavan has destroyed the world in the very first step, saying that this world is nothing but Manomayam. Pada, finished. World is finished. And what is this vritti or the thoughts? Nothing but I. And what is this I? It is nothing. But still, the presence cannot be denied. The awareness cannot be denied. Therefore, the pure consciousness of the awareness, which cannot be imagined to be anything, that is the Satya Vastu, that is the truth. See, here there is a difference between the Buddhistic thought and our Advaitic thought. Buddhist monks or the Buddhist scholars, they say there is nothing and they finish it off. But the Adi Shankara and others, what they say is, yes, there is nothing, but the awareness cannot be denied. Because who is knowing the nothing? So therefore, the awareness is Brahman or the Atma or the self. And some Zen masters call it as blissful emptiness. That bliss cannot be denied, that awareness cannot be denied. So therefore, this I patati, the I falls. So therefore, what is moksha? You should die. Ayyo. So therefore, our Acharya always used to say, spirituality is not to gain something special, it is to lose everything. Spirituality is not gaining something extraordinary, it is losing everything. Why? I is the main thing. That if you lose, everything is lost. Adhaan lose panna mudiyadhu. My God, it asserts itself in various forms. Tyage naike amritatva manashu. Na karmana, na prajaya, na dhanena. Tyage naike amritatva. What is tyaga? The tyaga of this petty I, ego sense. That is real tyaga. Tyage naike amritatva manashu. Then you achieve that amritatva, immortality. So it is not to gain extraordinary powers, siddhis. No. When you gain more extraordinary powers, the more the ego, ahankara only. More you are in bondage only. So when the I falls, what happens? See, no kada mudiyala. What happens then? who is asking this question? When I is gone, then who is asking this question? Since because we are not doing the vichara and we are not really dying, we ask this question. Otherwise, no question afterwards. When I goes, then what? Who is asking this? Go! First go and die. Our Acharya used to say, you have to die your own death. Don't come to me, you have to die your own death. Meaning what? Everybody should die their own death. That is liberation. ரொம்ப pessimistic Swamiji. We want to live a wonderful life. You say you go and die. You go and hang yourself. Only when you die you can live. Jesus Christ was crucified in the cross. And then he got resurrected. What is the meaning of that? Gurudev Swami Chinmayanji beautifully he puts it. What is a cross? Not I. That is cross, he says. I means what? Is ego sense. So the Christians, they say, no, not I. This is I, not I. So in that idea of not I am not the body, the jiva is crucified. He dies. The jiva dies. The ego sense perishes. There is the resurrection. Resurrection means what? There rises the Jivan Mukta. There rises the Brahma Jnani. That is resurrection. That is the real life. Only after the death of the ego, there is real life. True life. So that is what is expressed in the next verse, please.
Ahaminashabhaji, aham taya.
Ahaminashabhaji, aham taya.
Ahaminashabhaji, aham taya.
Ahaminashabhaji, aham taya.
Spurati hrit swayam paramapurnasat.
Spurati hrit swayam paramapurnasat.
Spurati hrit swayam paramapurnasat.
Spurati hrit swayam paramapurnasat. Ahaminashabhaji. When this I, the ego sense, the I which is identified with the body mind, when this I, when this perishes, vinashabhaji, nashabhaji, when it dies, what happens? Aham taya spurati hrit swayam. There is another I, aham. நான் ஒன்று தானத்து நானான் என்றொன்றது தானாகத் தோன்றுமே உந்தி பர தானது பூன்றமா முந்தி பர. Where this I perishes, in that sthanam, there another I reveals itself. Spurati hrit swayam. Swayam means by itself. You need not know it. This is a very important point. Swayam by itself, spurati, it reveals. What is its nature? Aham. As the self only. Aham. What is that? Parama Purna Sat. That is the truth. Parama Purna, that is most supreme. And Parama Purna means what? That is infinite. Purnam means it's complete, perfect, full, whatever way you want to see it. So when this ahankara or the ego sense, when it dies, in its place, another I reveals itself, swayam. Spurati means reveals itself. That is the real self. Now what we are considering as ourself is actually false. In fact, it is a myth. Why it is myth? It was never ever born. It was not there. So this self, which is revealed with the destruction of this ego sense, with his personality, with his self, with his petty self, that is the true self. That is Satyam. Paramapurna. Sat means what? That is the truth. Purna means what? There it lacks nothing. It is Purnam and it is supreme. There is nothing more higher than that. So Param. How come you say that? How come you say that? That also may be false. How do you know? That also may be false. One day that may perish. How do you say that is Satyam? What is Satyam? It is defined in Vedanta Shastra as whichever is present in all the three periods of time is called as Satyam. Or when we consider our experiences, whichever is present in all the three states of our experiences, waking, dream, deep sleep, whichever is present all the time, that is called as Satyam. So this self, which we are talking about now, which reveals itself as Paramapurna Sat, that is the truth. Why? How? This question should be asked, no? Maybe it also may be false. Maybe it also may be a myth. How can you say that is Sat? See, Bhagavan gives a beautiful logic and reasoning. Why it is Sat? Why it is Paramapurna Sat? Because this ego sense, this small I or petty I, rises and falls. Rises and falls. But this Paramapurna Sat will never rise, will never fall. Thonri maraidharkku idanai, thonri marayadolirum poonramam avude porul. In Ulladu Narpadu he says. That which is rising and that which is subsiding. This Paramapurna Sat, it gives room or space for this to rise and fall. It will never rise or it will never fall. It is always present. It is always present. That is why it is called as Sat. Is there a time where you are not? Even in deep sleep, we are. We are means the self is there. We may not apprehend, but we are. So that is what Bhagavan is trying to explain in the next verse. This Sat or this self is a Paramapurna Sat. Why that way? Because he is going to explain now. See, this is a hardcore logic. You should understand it properly.
Idamaham padabhikyamam manvaham.
Idamaham padabhikyamanvaham.
Idamaham padabhikyamanvaham.
Idamaham padabhikyamanvaham.
Ahamilinake pyalaya sattaya.
Ahamilinake pyalaya sattaya.
Ahamilinake pyalaya sattaya.
Ahamilinake pyalaya sattaya. Idam means this self, what we are talking about now, as Paramapurna Satna, the real self. Idam Ahampada Abhikyam, which is indicated as I. Ahampada Abhikyam means which is indicated as I, is the Sat, is the truth. Why? Because Ahami Linake Api Alaya Sattaya. See, this is the logic, this is the reason given. Ahami Linake Api. Ahami Linake means what? In the deep sleep state, this small ahankara, I, linake api, when it is absorbed also, alaya sattaya. Alaya means this true self is not gone anywhere. It is very much present. So, in the waking state also, the true self is always there. In the dream also, the true self is always there. But you can argue, yes, this small I is also there in the waking state. This small I is also in the dream state. Yes, but in the deep sleep state, even when the small I or the ego sense, when it perishes, still, ahami linake api, even then, alaya sattaya. This is not gone. Alaya. It is not absorbed or gone somewhere. It is ever present. So, we have to analyze only our experience. What is our experience? We go through waking. When we get up, we go through waking state. And then when we sleep, sometimes we dream. And then we go to deep sleep. These are the three experiences of this jiva. His whole life revolves around these three experiences only. So, when you take these three experiences in deep sleep state, when the small I is not there also, but this real self has not gone extinct. Alaya sattaya. How do you say that? Because when you get up, you say, I slept well, I enjoyed. You say or not when you get up? How do you say that? There was somebody or some principle or existence or some being there in the deep sleep. That is why you get up and say, I slept well and I enjoyed. Deep sleep, everybody enjoy or not? When you don't sleep, you go mad. When you sleep deeply, when you come out, you say, I had a wonderful sleep. I really enjoyed, you say. And not only that, suppose, let us say, if nothing was there in the deep sleep, not even the pure self, sometimes who knows, when you sleep as an engineer and get up as a doctor, the I can point deep sleep. Maybe somebody else. It's not happening now. Because there is a connecting thing throughout these three consciousness. That is the self, the pure self. That is always present. And also in Dakshinamurti Stotram, it is revealed as Pratyabhijna. The memory is not possible without the underlying principle. Even when you get up, you have a memory of a deep sleep and enjoyment in the deep sleep. This memory is possible only because there was something or some being in the deep sleep also. That is the self. So therefore it is revealed that the self is always, the true self which we are talking now, as aham taya spurati swayam, that is present all the three states of consciousness and always present, therefore it is satyam. Whereas this self, which is the ego self, it rises and falls. In the deep sleep, it is gone. In the waking and dream, it is up. It is there, raising its hood, creating havoc. And then deep sleep, it is gone. But in the deep sleep, the real self is still present. These, the jnanis, they experience. But ajnanis, we cannot experience. Because we are absorbed into something called as ajnana, ignorance. So we don't know. But they have realized, they have known it and they have revealed it. And also the logic is, when you get up, you say, I slept well and I enjoyed. Meaning, somebody was there. Is that not so? That is the true self. So therefore, this true self is there in all the three periods of time, in all the three states of consciousness. Therefore, this is Satya. Appa, or Visheta Satyam establishment, how much they are struggling, see? Ahami linake api. Even though this aham is not there in the deep sleep, api alaya sattaya. This self has not gone extinct. Alaya. It has not gone extinct. Therefore, it is Sat. It is the truth. That is our true self, not this. There is no world. When there is no world, there is nobody else. No thoughts, no emotions. There only the presence, the Sat. And that is Chit. Why? That Sat is known. So Chit. And since there is nothing, it is Ananda. Please understand, only when there is nothing, there is Ananda. We think only we have everything, there is Ananda. Vedanta Vakyeshu Sada Ramantaha Bhikshanna Matre Nachatushtimantaha Ashokavanta Karunaikavantaha Kaupinavanta Kalubhagyavantaha. One who is a Kaupinadhari. Kaupina means, the lion cloth. He alone is blessed. Kalubhagyavantaha. He is only Ashokavantaha. No sorrows for him. Karunaikavantaha. He is compassion. Why? Only when you have nothing. Only when you are nothing, there is peace, there is joy. When you have got lot many things around you, there is always agitation and sorrow. So when there is nothing, there is total peace. There is total bliss. And it is endless. Anantam. So that is the true self. So this we have to discover within ourselves. When we go beyond thoughts, you can discover. How can you go beyond thought? What are these thoughts? They are nothing but I thought. Because they depend on this I. Without I, no thoughts can rise. So then inquire, what is this I thought? Inquire means what? You give your attention. That is very important. Look within. What is this I, this notion, I in my heart? Every day I am talking about this I. What is this I? From where it is rising? If you look deep within, you will discover that I patati, that I also perishes. In that, aham taya spurati swayam. Another self is revealed, which is Paramapurna Sat. That is Paramapurna Sat because it is always available in all the three states of consciousness. And that is the true self. That is Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. So that is what is established. So till this 21st verse, this is Atma Vichara in its truest form, in its essential form. And from here onwards, he is going to now take up one by one certain ideas, certain confusions which we have, and he is going to clarify. And in that he is going to even explain the Mahavakya Upadesha. What is Mahavakya Upadesha? Brahma Atma Ikya Bodha. That Brahma, which is the consciousness behind this universe, is the consciousness which is shining in the heart as I. So this Aikya Bodha is going to be revealed also. So we will start with the next verse and continue in the next class. 22nd also you can read.
Vikrayendriya pranadhitama
Vikrayendriya pranadhitama
Vikrayendriya pranadhitama
Vikrayendriya pranadhitama
Nahamekasa tajjadam yasat
Nahamekasa tajjadam yasat
Nahamekasa tajjadam yasat
Nahamekasa tajjadam yasat. See, generally what we consider ourselves to be, we consider ourselves to be this vigraha, this form. Vigraha means this form, this murti, this body. Or we consider ourselves to be our own senses. When the senses are very sharp, then we say, I am able to see very well. My eyesight is very sharp. I am able to see all those stuff. Or we consider ourselves to be our mind. We say, today I am so happy. Or we say, today I am so down, mood upset, we say. So we identify with the mind. So we think ourselves to be the mind. Or we identify with the buddhi. Or in the deep sleep, we identify with tamas, nothing, darkness. I don't know anything. This is how we identify ourselves. Here Bhagavan is trying to destroy all these ideas. What is me? He says, Naham, what is not me? He says, Vigraha, this form is not me. Why? Because it is seen, but I am the seer. Drisya Viveka. And Vigraha Indriya, the senses, that is not me. Prana, the breath, that is not me. Dhi, buddhi, mind and buddhi, everything is put together, Dhi. And Tamaha means the darkness which we experience in the deep sleep, the ignorance. Naham, all these things are not me. Why? Tat jadam, they are inert, they don't have light of consciousness of their own. Therefore, he asat, they are unreal. Naham. So what I am? Eka sat, I am that which is always present, the true self I am. So traditional Vedanta Shastra, they talk about Panchakosha Viveka. The Panchakoshas, the Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Jnanamaya Kosha, Anandamaya Kosha. So here, Bhagavan is sort of refuting or sort of rejecting the na iti, one by one the koshas. He says, this body, how can it be me? It is jadam. Whatever is jadam means, which has no illumination of its own, knowledge of its own. Therefore it is jadam. He asat, it will perish. It depends only on that pure consciousness. It will perish. So therefore it is not the self. Indriya, Prana, Manobuddhi, these are all not me. Then who am I? Even you are not that Maya or Ajnana, you are not that. Then that self which is revealed in your heart, when the ego self dies, that self you are. Tattvamasi. That self you are. Ekasat, that is one without the second. In that state, there is nothing other than the self. So that one without the second self is your true self. Other than that, all these koshas, the body, mind, everything is jadam, tat jadam. Therefore, he asat. It is all unreal. It has to be given up. And whatever is sat is your true self. There you have to abide. It is one without the second. In that there is nothing other than the self. Neha nanasti kinchana. There are no others, other in this self. There is no plurality, no duality. So that is the true self. So, till here we have studied. So tomorrow we will see the 23rd one. There is 10 more minutes. I think 23rd also we can take. Sattvabhasika chitva vetara.
Sattvabhasika chitra vetara.
Chitva vetara. I didn't teach her, that's why. You will chant now.
Sattvabhasika chitva vetara.
Sattvabhasika chitva vetara.
Satyahi chit.
Sattaya chit chittaya hyaham.
Sattaya chit chittaya hyaham. सत्तया हि चेत् चित्तया ह्यहम्
Sattaya hi chet chittaya hyaham. See, her chanting is so helping me actually to take some breath. And she's also chanting very beautifully. If I chant, you all will run away. Because first day I tried that. It didn't work that way. See, what is said here, Chit kwa va itara. We have to split that as this. See, sattva bhasika is the first word in the first line, right? That you keep it aside for time being. Now, the second word of the first line is chit kwa vetarana. That has to be split like chit kwa va itara. Itara means other. Kwa va is there other. Chit, knowledge. Meaning, kwa va is there itara, some other means of knowledge or consciousness or knowledge. Sattvabhasika, to illuminate this sadvastu. Sadvastu means what? The pure self. The answer is no. Why? When the sun is shining, he is revealed by his own light. You don't need another light to reveal him. Is that not so? Sun is shining. How do you know? Have you taken the torch? Why do you need a torch to see the sun? Why sun is revealed? By his own light. Similarly, this Swarupam, this self, is not only is, it is known or revealed by his own light. Swayam Jyoti. Jyotisham api tajyotihi tamasap paramuchyate. By his own light. Therefore it is said here, Kvava, is there any other light or knowledge required to illuminate this Sat, this truth, this self? No. Sattayahi chit, that very existence principle is the knowledge principle through which it is revealed. Sattayahi chit, chittayahi aham, that chit, that knowledge principle, I am, aham. The idea is, when it is said, it is revealed by itself. We saw, na, I patati, when that I dies, aham aham taya spurati hit swayam. Another I, the self, reveals by itself. See, here, in the previous verse, everything is rejected. The body is rejected, the sense is rejected, mind is rejected. See, when in meditation you transcend the body, mind, intellect, then the question comes, see, how we know things in this world? Through senses, right? No, you should go beyond the senses, drop the senses. It is not. Or it can be known through the mind, by emotions or thoughts. No, you go beyond mind and intellect. Hare, if you drop everything, then how is the self known? The question arises, right? See, in the last verse, you have to transcend the body, it is not you, the senses not you, mind, buddhi not you. When you give up everything, when you transcend everything, then the natural question arises, then how will you know it? Because in this world we have been knowing through the senses or the mind or buddhi. Here, it is said you have to give up all the senses, body, mind, because it is not you, it has to be rejected. When you reject all these things, then how will you know this? Then it is said, it is known by itself. It is pure knowledge. Because Sattayahi Chit, by itself it is the knowledge. The existence called the Sat, the self, itself pure knowledge, it is revealed by itself. Like the sun is revealed by itself, by his own light. There is no other light required. Similarly, this self is revealed by his own light. He is full of light. Light means what? Pure knowledge, consciousness. So this self is not only Sadvastu, reality, it is illumined by itself. Therefore, you don't need senses, mind or buddhi or any other equipment there. You don't need any other instrument or equipment or any other knowledge required to know this self. Because by itself it is knowledge. By itself it's revealed. Therefore, don't ask this question. When you give up the senses, mind and buddhi, how will you know it? It is revealed by itself because it is Swayam Jyoti. It is full of light. It is light by itself. It is knowledge by itself. Therefore, it is known. Don't ask how. Go there and find out. And that pure consciousness, that Chittayahi Aham, that pure conscious, Chit means consciousness. That pure knowledge, that pure consciousness is Aham. That is my true nature. You understand? Here the doubt is, you say you drop everything. All the known means of knowledge is dropped. Then how would you know it? You don't worry. By itself it is known because it is of the nature of knowledge. So it's known by itself. Okay, we will stop here. And there are 7 more verses which we can complete
Can we
tomorrow.
say that it is more experiential?
Yes. Experiential means when you are abiding there, there is no doubt. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Guru Namaha. Harihi Om.